yourself, or are you a deceiver? Have you been knocked with fairy fever? Are you a witch, or are you a fairy? Or are you the wife of Michael Cleary? Are you yourself, or are you a deceiver? Have you been knocked with fairy fever? Are you a witch, or are you a witch? Or are you a fairy? Or are you the fairy? Or are you the wife of Michael Cleary? Are you yourself, or are you a deceiver? Have you been knocked with fairy fever? Hey ho, nobody's home. Fairies knocking at your bones. A curse if you won't let them in. Are you a fairy, or are you the wife of Michael Cleary? Are you yourself, or are you a deceiver? Have you been knocked with a curse if you, Michael Cleary?
Have you seen Bridget?
Mrs. Cleary.
The woman with the wild ways.
Oh, I've not seen her.
No one's seen her. She's not been home these last 3 days.
How
I'm
strange.
sure you could hardly miss her. It's not her a mile off. And I know one or two would love to wipe the smile off her. Her long red hair is one of her excesses. And all those dresses, bright satin in her skirts, feather in her hat. Well, trouble always comes to a woman like that. What of Michael? Ah, the husband.
The keeper who's not from these parts.
Hasn't he been spotted looking for her? All in sweats and fits and starts.
How bizarre.
That when she was 19, full of light and life, acting her bold as he soon made her his wife. 7 years gone by and her beauty's just as brilliant, but still no children. She would always argue back, always give in tit for tat. Trouble always comes to a woman like that.
These are hard times,
Very dark
the
time.
English keep the Irish down. She wouldn't be the first young to try the fight in town.
Oh, that would be unsound, for she's a rebel in her, ignored what others told her. What if she's run into some danger with an English soldier?
Some women
Just can't be
the struggle to the men, and then they're never seen again. Free as a bird,
As a dog.
stubborn as a cat. Well,
Trouble always comes to.
trouble always comes to a woman like that.
Rebel heart of Ireland, the tides are swiftly turning. The English lose their grip. The fires of freedom are burning. Irishmen seek freedom.
And women seek it too. Perhaps there's been some upset there, some strife between the two.
Yes, that's what I hear.
What did you
I heard it's true they're arguing that it's not of soldiers, it's of her boldness in visiting the fairy ring.
Oh, yes, she goes there often. I've seen her go myself, taking up gifts for fairies in exchange for greater wealth. Sure, it's plain to see that she's a great believer, but they'll deceive her, spending hours and hours alone within the fairy raft. Well, trouble always comes to a woman like that.
Jesus Christ is Lord of all. Blessed Mary. But hark in deepest, darkest night, the footsteps of a fairy.
A sudden death, a ruined crop, a strange and searing pain. The fairies cause the happenings that Jesus can't explain.
See, centuries of old belief will not be swept away. In statue books they disappear, in hearts and minds they stay.
I've seen her on their house, but they spilt inside.
And fairies are no fairies, sure, Michael is a haunted mind.
as a dog.
Stubborn as a cat.
Always fighting back, always giving tit for tat, spending all her time visiting the fairy rat. Trouble comes to, trouble always comes to.
Trouble comes to, trouble always comes to, trouble always comes to a woman like that.
Good afternoon. My name is Maz O'Connor and I'm the composer and writer of a new piece of musical theatre, The Wife of Michael Cleary. The Wife of Michael Cleary is set in a remote valley in County Tipperary, Ireland, in the winter of 1895. It is inspired by the true story of Bridget Cleary, a talented, ambitious, headstrong dressmaker who became the target of vicious rumours in her village, causing her husband to become convinced that she wasn't herself, but a fairy changeling. You just heard the opening of the piece. It begins 3 days after Bridget goes missing, when villagers gather to gossip about what may have happened to her. After this song, the piece goes back in time to when Bridget and Michael first arrived in the village as a newly married couple. We're now going to hear a song sung by the local Shanachie and cousin of Bridget, Jack Dunn. Jack sings this song at the welcome party for Bridget and Michael, explaining that their new house is built on a fairy path. This is the Changeling song.
This fine new house here was built Boher Raha on a fairy path. I'd say it wouldn't be the best place to be starting a new life, not without paying great care. I knew a woman once lived on one of their paths. A friend of my mother's, she was. A bold woman, chatty as hens. But you know, the she can smell pride. They grow jealous. They've been known to take what people they want away. Women and children. This woman now, it was a wee boy she had. Her first he was. And this wee boy, well, I'll sing you the song of it. Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, sung me by my mother, of an innocent child the fairies took and put in his place another. Night and day this baby cried, would not be relieved, shrinking smaller by the hour. Ah, how the mother was grieved. And when she cried to God above, show me the way to soothe my babe, the sound that came to make reply rose from the place where the little babe lay. Follow the river back to the stream, underneath the hawthorn tree. There you'll see your baby boy, stolen away by the fairies, herein replaced by the fairies. Soon to her husband this tale she did tell, and begged to call a priest. No priest nor doctor he would call to have this child released, but called for a woman of high renown who knew the fairy ways, who came with pockets full of herbs and ordered the fires to blaze. And there she lay, the changeling boy, flat on his back upon the grate, The flames grew higher and higher until the child seemed to glow like coal. But wait, she said, there goes the changeling, quick as the wind, up and out that chimney hole, and here in my arms, sweetly asleep, the child you know as your own. The child, the wicked fairy stole. But when the baby came back to himself, the mother soon did change. No touch, no kiss her husband got. To him she made herself strange. And before they made the fire again, this woman turned sick. She couldn't be saved. She screamed, she cried, just like the child. And the very next day she lay in her grave. So beware the ways of the fairy kin. Make of them no foe or friend. The gold they offer is nothing but tin. It's death they will bring in the end. It's death they will bring in the end.
Thank you. We're now going to skip ahead in the piece to the beginning of the second act. So just to catch you up, at the end of Act 1, Michael and Bridget have their first serious confrontation, which culminates in Michael hitting Bridget for the first time. To complicate matters, Bridget has discovered that she's pregnant, and she's hiding this fact from Michael. After this fight, Michael disappears. And then Act 2 finds us 3 days later. Bridget is enraged and decides to interrupt a village celebration to call out the patriarchal BS that the women in their community have to deal with. I couldn't find a more intelligent way of saying that. So, the other 2 women joining her in the song are Johanna, her meek cousin, and Mary, her bossy, controlling aunt. This is Girls' Rule.
What's the crack, lads? Am I dreaming or do I live and breathe? Excuse me, lads, there's something I'm wanting to say. I said I've something to be saying to ya. Grant. Well, I'll be saying it anyway. Girls, are you listening? Yeah. All this talk about freedom, don't they see it's unfair that they tell us what we can think and they tell us what we can wear? Freedom for half the people is no kind of freedom at all. It's time they saw us as equal. It's time they answered our call. What do they think that we won't understand? Why do they think us so weak? It's true that my back's not as broad as a man's, but the earth will shake when I speak. So who's the king of the castle? Men. Who owns the sheep and the cattle? Men. Who gives us all of the hassle? Men. Who starts all of the battles? Men. Who looks after the children? Girls. Who turns heads on the streets? Girls. Who brings food from the kitchen? Girls. Who makes shoes for your fate? Girls rule, hey, hey. Girls rule, hey, hey. Girls rule, hey, hey. Girls rule, hey. All this drinking to Ireland, God help us keep Erin free. You want to shake off their chains and throw them over me. All this talk of the English, and yes, I agree they're a blight, but they leave us to feed you and clothe you and clean you, and I say that's not right. So many things that you don't understand, things I could never explain. It's true that my arm's not as strong as a man's, but you've never felt woman's pain. So who's the king in the castle? Men. Who owns all the sheep and the cattle? Men. Who gives us all of the hassle? Men. Who starts all of the battles? Men. Who gives life to the children? Girls. Who makes bread from the weeds? Girls. Girls. Who makes shoes from your feet? Girls rule, hey.
learn how to fight. If you won't shut up and listen, I say you're all full of shite.
Freedom for all, or freedom for none. Freedom for all, or freedom for none. Freedom for all, or freedom for none. Watch out, lads, this is how it's done. Girls rule, hey. Hey. Girls rule, hey. Hey. Girls rule, hey. Hey. Girls rule, hey.
Cass are going to leave at this point, so give me a round of applause. Thank you. Yes, I meant to say there's a big dance at the end of that song, in case you didn't figure that out. So, immediately after Girls Rule... Oh, no, that's the wrong bit, sorry. Later that same night, Michael returns home and is convinced by Jack Dunn, our Shanachie, who we met earlier, and a jealous admirer of Bridget, that Bridget is not herself but a fairy changeling. Michael tries to search for the fairy mark on her skin and becomes violent while doing so. Bridget manages to escape to the leash or fairy ring, where she often goes to be alone. Here, she sings Hide, during which she decides that she will leave Michael for good and that she will take the herbal potion given to her by her cousin, which she hopes will bring on a miscarriage and end her pregnancy. This is Hide.
I never knew my mother. I never got to touch her. She gave her life for mine. They say she was a beauty, lily white cheeks and raven hair, a devoted wife. Well, my hair is red and my hands are coarse. They say I work like a man and I dress like a whore, and whatever he asks me, I should answer, of course. So the men make the money and the English make laws, and the wife stays at home with the cows and the horse, and whenever he wants me, he can take me by force. And that's okay, is it? That's just his way, is it? It's my shame, is it? My disgrace. I can't hide it, though I've tried to deny it. I'm on fire with desire for all I could be. If he could see, if he'd believe that I'm alive, I'm alive like him. Sometimes I feel my mother. I feel like I could touch her hair, her breath on the wind. All the things that I would ask her if I only had an hour. Sure, I don't know where I'd begin. See, my ways are strange and my clothes are all wrong, and I step out of time and I sing the wrong song, and everyone sees it, knows that I don't belong. And if I should sleep, then I don't sleep for long, and it should make me weak, but it just makes me strong. And if this is my nature, how can nature be wrong? No, there's no shame in it. There's no disgrace in it. It's not too late. This is my way. I can't hide it, though I've tried to deny it. I'm on fire with desire for all I could be. If he could see, if he believed that I'm alive, I'm alive. And if you can't breathe, hide it. If you don't believe, hide it. If you want to leave, you can learn to hide that too. And if you have a dream, hide it where the devil can't find it, or the devil makes a fool out of you. Maybe I'd rather be a fool. I won't hide it, I won't try to deny it. I'm on fire with desire for all I could be. If he would see, now I believe that I'm alive. I'm alive.
Thank you. Immediately after this song, Bridget collapses into a fever and begins to suffer a miscarriage as a result of taking the herbal potion. Jack Dunn finds her in the leash and mistakes her suffering for evidence that she is in fact a changeling. He carries her back to Michael, who instigates a so-called fairy ritual. He says that he wants to chase the fairy out and bring the real Bridget back. He involves the whole family in this ritual, which becomes increasingly brutal. And finally, Michael kills Bridget by setting fire to her dress. The piece, however, ends on a note of hope. Johanna, Bridget's formerly meek cousin, goes to the police to report her own family for what they've done. Inspired by Bridget, she finds the courage to speak up. So, The Wife of Michael Cleary has been in development for about 4 years and has so far received support from Arts Council England, PRSF Foundation, Help Musicians, EFTUS, the Liverpool Irish Festival, and Britain Piers Arts. We have released 2 songs from the show on Spotify, Hide and the Changeling song, so you can go and listen to that when you get home. I've been working with producer Jessie Anand, and this year we secured a large Arts Council grant in order to hold a 2-week R&D with a London showcase at which we aim to present the first 45 minutes of the piece in full, and Tineke Craig is going to direct that. There are 9 named characters in the piece, 5 in the band, including harp, whistles, fiddles, double bass, and the bowrum. And we are looking for co-producers and venues to work with us on a production. So if that is you, please do get in touch. I just want to say a small note about the kind of perspective of the piece and the kind of the passion and reason behind the piece. I'm very passionate about telling Bridget's story, and although this is a story of horrific violence towards women, the piece puts Bridget at the front and centre of her own story. She is very much the protagonist, and I am not interested so much in why Michael killed her, which has been the focus of much of the coverage of the story so far, but what conditions have to exist to allow men to kill women. Bridget's is the story of so many women, and while the Irish folkloric elements are very culturally specific, I believe that this piece will have a universal appeal. I want the audience to leave the show impassioned to make the world a safer place for women. Thank you very much for listening to us. Have a great day.